injury updates on Josh and see if they do anything to that practice?
No, I mean, we just had walkthrough stuff for those guys. So Josh is going to be listed as probable. We expect him to be able to play, and Nas is going to be listed as out.
You said doubtful.
Probable for Josh and out for this year.
That's it.
Yep.
Um, Obviously, he had that in the Dallas game this year with the knee, and then he went on that anyway. But then he played against Houston. I thought he played well. Was that just something that a reoccurring thing with him? Or?
Yeah, it's just when he has an off day, it starts to feel better. But the day after he plays, he has just a tendonitis type thing, where there's extreme soreness, and something they just want to let calm down for a few games.
Did Brad come out of yesterday's practice?
Yep.
Yesterday's game good?
Feeling great, yes.
Curious with even, I was asking Kevin about just the hard closeouts that teams are trying to make when the three are out there. How much is it an advantage that not only do you have guys that can shoot it and score, but they can play off of that and make the defense pay?
Yeah, I mean that's what we love about our roster. And the combination of those three guys, they all can do it all. You have to run at them because they're elite catch and shoot players, and they're elite putting the ball on the floor as well. Where a lot of role players, are just one-trick ponies, so to speak, where they can only catch and shoot and are limited off the bounce. All those guys, and I would say even Grayson and Eric are really good attacking off the bounce as well, which is not the level of obviously KD, Book, and Brad.
One of the things you said last night was, taking the collection of players and trying to make them an elite team. The process in doing that, though, is not. It's got to be harder to do than to be said. So what are steps now from this point?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a big evaluation step, which is delayed when they're not all out there. But when you evaluate, you learn more about how the coach can tweak the system, to fit their strengths and weaknesses the right way. Whether it's offensively with things we're doing, or defensively, because we're not a great containment team. So being stronger in our gaps and having more of a tight shell even than normal teams, I think is just part of learning about our group and making subtle coaching adjustments along the way. So hopefully we'll continue to do that.
Coach, I was curious what you were seeing from both Udoka and Saban to lead to the rotation opportunity and the type of lift you've seen that give the team the last couple of games.
Yeah, you see the pickup games that we have for the low-minute guys, and we keep an eye on how they're playing and how they're progressing in our system. And when you're struggling, you look at ways that maybe you can give a spark to your group. And those guys have earned a right to get an opportunity, and both of them in the two games that they played this week have played really well, and have given us a lift. So, it's just part of using your whole roster and making sure guys are being rewarded for their hard work. Making sure there's no stone unturned, to get the team playing at the highest level that you can. And it's good to see those guys take advantage of the opportunity.
I know Kevin is a weak side protector is based on specifically like where he is on the floor, the coverage of guys. It's not an every possession thing, but how do you try and maximize like a skill set like that not a lot of teams have, having him at the four, which can protect the rim with his long arms?
Yeah, I mean, we have sort of rules within our defensive system that try to keep him low as much as possible. When he's off the ball, and there's times where we want guys chasing their own man, and we want times where we want our big wings, not just Kevin, but Mezzi, Keita, Bowl, big wing rules where we try to pass off guys that are going to the top of the floor, and just try to take advantage of our size in the paint as much as possible.
Were there any concerns coming out of last night about the three-point defense, or how did you kind of assess how you guys did there?
Yeah, we looked at all of them. I think 3 of them, maybe 4 of them, were from being strong in our gaps, okay, and not getting back close enough. But overall, you credit the Hornets. They made some really tough shots. A lot of Terry's shots were either at 4-point range or step back threes on their own man, which Jalen Green hit a few of the other night as well. You live with some of those, and then you just try to focus on the controllable ones. The ones in transition. We had a few short closeouts on guys we consider lasers, and we went under some guys that we consider lasers as well. and then the switch exchange. The switch exchange, in this modern NBA, which is a switching world, a lot of guys will just shoot over the switch, and there's coverages, there's execution pieces that could have been better as well. But I think overall, getting our team to have an opponent only score 34 points in the paint is a huge win for us.
Coach, looking at Orlando, they got the talent on the young guys, Franz and Alalo. When you look at those two in particular, what made the team so much?
Yeah, I mean, I think as a group, their positional defensive size is very, very impressive. This is a big, long team, and they make it very difficult to get to the paint. So, having the type of spacing that we had against the Hornets will be pivotal in terms of beating the Magic. But those two guys, Franz and Paolo, they're elite offensive players. Even though they're young players, it's not a situation where they got to wait on those guys. They're doing it right now. I mean, they both came out of the gates scoring the ball at a super high rate in a variety of different ways, and the versatility is very impressive.
Statistically, Coach, Kevin and Chimezie have been really good, net rating and all that stuff, being on the court together. You notice anything when they're on the floor that's kind of standing out to you?
Yeah, I mean, that could be misleading because Mezzi plays some 4 and some 5. So, whether it's Mezzi, KD, and a center is a totally different lineup than just, Mezzi at the 5 and KD at the 4. So, I just look at those metrics a little bit differently, but Mezzi's been playing good basketball for us. I think that most of the positive numbers are when he's at the 5. He's shown us, that he can be a dynamic roller, and is really showing his athleticism as a roller. And, having those two guys with the size they have defensively helps us as well.
Coach, with Kevin at the 5 to end the game, I assume that's something you would have turned to a lot more if you guys were more healthy. Now that you're healthier, it's easier to do.
Yeah, and it's not perfect because of the size that we don't have at the forward position. Ideally, if he's going to play 5, it's with 2 or 3 other power forward types. But the way we sometimes you just got to get your best players on the floor and ask them to figure it out, even if you're a little bit small. That's a lineup that is really going to be difficult to guard. You know what I mean? And then they just got to work to compete and be connected on the defensive side.
Thanks, Coach.
Before you get started, what's it like watching guys, getting a little run in and trying to stay obviously engaged?
When there's noise in the gym, man, it's always a great feeling no matter where you at, no matter if it's kids or grown-ups in the gym, it's always good to see people running up and down the floor.
Curious with the game last night with Bradley coming back, how did you like the spacing, particularly in that first quarter?
Oh, it was amazing. I mean, I think we all moved the ball pretty well. We touched the ball, made quick decisions, and 34 assists is what we want to kind of hang our hats on the offensive side. I mean, we made shots last night, don't get me wrong. I tell you, it's a make or miss league. Everything looks better when you're making shots, but we generated good shots. So it wasn't anything forced. It wasn't a lot of shooting over 2 or 3 people. I think we moved the ball well.
Curious, you obviously had some penetration early and found Nurkic. How much of that was a product of you obviously drawing the defense, but then the spacing allowing you to be able to?
Yeah, I think it starts from me just looking to be aggressive to score the ball. And then, making a quick decision when somebody helps up, and trusting that, Nurkic will be there to finish those plays, or Drew or Doak or Mezzi, the bigs down there, can finish those plays. So it's about making quick decisions, but putting pressure on the defense to be a threat. I always try to be a threat as much as I can, and I think that's what's opening up the passing.
You've obviously talked about being more than just a scorer, which I think people do. But you had 11 assists, 1 turnover.
Yeah.
Maybe how did you feel about that floor game?
I mean, that's what I'm supposed to do. Like, I feel even more excited about this game because that's just what I'm supposed to do, is read the game, understand how the game is being played, and make decisions. I mean, I've been in the league for too long for me to get surprised at games like that.
It was a 25 assists between you, Book, and Brad. Do you feel like that's kind of a preview of what's to come with you?
Yeah, you can say that, but I think for our whole team, we're all moving the ball, and it might be a 5 assist night for Grayson one night, or a 7 assist night for EG, or Saban, who knows, Nurk, so we make it unpredictable when it comes to moving the ball and who's initiating the offense, which play. I think we'll be an unpredictable team to stop, and that's really what all great offenses in this league do. They switch attack so many times, so we try to be that type of team.
You mentioned that because that's something that you were saying early in the year, trying to be unpredictable. But when you don't have the full complement of players, it can become predictable because they're expecting maybe you. But do you feel like now with everybody who's close to full?
Regardless who on the floor, basketball is an unpredictable sport. I mean, you're playing off of instincts. You don't think too much on the offensive side. You make the quick play. Then it's just basketball in general, regardless of the personnel. And that type of basketball can translate to any personnel. When you're playing together, making an extra pass, kicking it ahead, getting stops together on defense, and running out in transition. No matter who's on the floor, that stuff will translate into good basketball.
Curious with Orlando, they've got obviously with Paulo and Franz and a young team that's making it come. What do you see when you look at that roster?
Long athletic team that can cause so many problems for an offense, the second best defense, the first best defense in the league, using that length to getting out, getting turnovers. So we got to protect the ball. We got our work cut out for us tomorrow. And just on the offensive side of the ball, just understanding, that this team can get in the passing lanes. They're good at contesting shots, so we got to make the correct plays.
I think it was under 25 points in the paint for Charlotte after like the 7-minute mark of the first quarter. What do you like about the way you guys defended on the interior?
Yeah, I mean, we know it's a three-point league, but a lot of that three-point stuff stems from the paint. And if you touch the paint first and kick out, that's always a good formula for any team. So if you try to eliminate how many times teams get into the paint, those threes sometimes are tougher. You seen it last night, Rozier was hitting fadeaways. And so if you got to rely on those shots, that's a tough diet to live on right there. So, but it all starts from the paint. If we can plug that up as much as we can and still get out to the shooters and contest, we're in good shape.
I know positionally you're not in that weak side rim protector role every possession, but how have you been feeling that out over the course of the season? Because I know based on the coverage it changes from when you go in and when you don't.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a read where in the pick and roll, you want to sometimes you can overhelp and when the guys that's playing in 2-on-2 pick and roll, that third guy can overhelp sometimes when they got it covered and they can spray out for some threes. So you got to know when to stab at the ball and get back and close out back to your man and show presentation, but still not give up a three. So that's the part of the NBA that's tough, because guys can make those passes quick. They can get in the lane and make shots, shoot the floaters, and they got guys that can shoot the threes. So you got to make second and third efforts against every team in the league now. So, but playing that bottom side pick and roll is almost like a read that each play might be different.
Do you remember the coach who started emphasizing that role to you, given the type of shot blocker that you are?
I feel like I've always been a shot blocker since I was a kid. I always had a knack for being around the basketball on both ends of the floor. So, but when I got to the Warriors, it was coaches gave us a lot of freedom to kind of roam on defense the way we like to roam. Andre, Draymond, myself, with that length, and we can roam on defense. And that just, over time we just learn a little bit more about positions and when to help, when not to, and so just coaches giving you that freedom to go out there and be an anchor on the defensive side of the ball is only helping.
How big will it be for you guys to take advantage of hard closeouts because they were rushing to try to get out?
Yeah. I mean, that's basketball. I mean, you want to put teams in a tough situation where they got to sprint from the paint to the three-point line to cover us. And we got guys that can catch and shoot, catch and drive. That's always going to be a tough thing for the defense. So as much as we can get on the ball and make those quick passes on the other side, we'll be in closeout situations.
The only thing I had was, why, we're looking at Grayson with that fit with you three and Nurk. What is it about him that is a good fit when he's out there with you three?
Yeah, I mean, he's not just being a standstill shooter. Like, he's handling the ball, he's making plays in the paint, he's making plays off the bounce in the pick and roll. So he's expanding this. He probably already did this already, but from watching him in Milwaukee and the stops he were at before, it was hard to see this type of stuff in this game because of the role he was playing. So, I didn't know he had all this stuff off the dribble. He had the incredible footwork in the paint. He can make smart plays driving. So I think he gives us that advantage of somebody else that can attack the paint.
Thanks, guys.
Just maybe speak to that a little bit and get the ball out and the guys get shots and making them.
Yeah, well, we're finally figuring it out, heading in the right direction. And like I said, I came here to win, and I believe a lot in this team, and we got a lot, to go for. And when I said those amount of points, like, I've been on a lot of good teams, but this team, scoring-wise, we should be able to just walk into games and outscore teams, and we'll figure it out on the defensive end. But we got to have some kind of stability somewhere, but we're figuring it out.
Curious, you said figure some things out defensively. What are a couple of things that even after last night you feel like can be better?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, they hit some tough shots yesterday. I mean, I would have never thought a team like that they hit so many threes off the dribble and all that. So you gotta give them some credit also. But we've had times where we were throughout the season where it's been up and down. But I just think as long as we have that positive mindset where we're scoring, and then I think on the defensive end, we'll get to that point where we're getting stops and we're slowly gathering it together.
Coach said that he didn't want you to change your mindset at all coming off the bench. When you hear that from the coach, I mean, I know you probably heard that your career, like, okay, just be who you are, but how did that feel to know that, hey, just keep being you as far as shooting the ball?
Yeah, because he knows I play the right way, and like with me, I don't really feel like I take bad shots. I like to play within the feel of the game, and I know if I'm knocking down shots, that's just going to open up the door for other people. Like, when me and Grayson are knocking down shots, and anybody else, it opens the door for our playmakers, and both Brad and Katie. So, like I said, I set a high bar for this team. So. Offensively, we should never slow down.
Eric, as a veteran, does a week and a half straight at home help you with not only just recuperation, but getting a rhythm as well?
No question. We need to be better at home, and we got to take care of home as much as possible. So, because on the road, the game is different. So we just need to continue taking care of home and win as many games as we can. So I like where we're at right now.
Yeah, as one of the leaders of this team, what's kind of impressed you most just about how the guys are kind of responding and coming together these last couple of games?
Yeah, we're responding to, playing the right way and vibing together. So I'm just glad that we flipped that switch so quickly where everybody's enjoying and having fun with one another.
You mentioned, obviously, the spacing. I was wanting to get with you on that. Should that be the norm, the spacing that you guys got in it?
No question. No question. Like I said, if I'm hitting a three early on, or Grayson hits a three early on, or whoever, teams have to respect that. And like I said, with the type of talent we have on the floor, no matter who's on the floor with this kind of team, we should never be slowed down. We should be creating good opportunities every time down the floor, every night, every game, night in and night out. So we just got to continue it.
Does it need to literally be said to guys, or should guys know that?
You would think guys should know that, but because that's just how the game should be. But like I said, how we've been playing these last few games, it's been very fun. I'm not gonna lie, it's been really fun.
Thanks, Eric.